Hi, I'm Dulcie Kirsting-Lark, Executive Director of the Latah County Historical Society. I extend my gratitude to the members of the Moscow Women's Giving Circle for making funds available this year to support programs that empower women and girls and that honor the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage in America. I'm also grateful for the invitation to share a bit more with you all about our 2020 grant application. The Latah County Historical Society is seeking funding for an autumn 2020 event series that will provide an educational bridge linking the women's suffrage movement of the early 20th century with the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s. 2020 has provided organizations like ours with a tremendous opportunity to deeply explore the social movement which culminated in ratification of the 19th Amendment on August 26, 1920. Throughout the centennial year, LCHS is collaborating with numerous partners in the community to commemorate this important milestone and bring a more holistic understanding to audiences. LCHS intends to offer 6 additional programs, as well as a traveling exhibition in the fall of 2020 that will place the 19th Amendment in the context of America's longer struggle for universal suffrage. Given that 2020 is a major election year in our country, the topic of exploration could not be more timely. Up to this point, commemorative events have focused on the traditional 19th and early 20th century women's suffrage movement, which many of us are familiar with. Our winter and spring programs were collaboratively offered with the University of Idaho and the League of Women Voters of Moscow, with the help from Idaho Humanities Council. While we were able to cover quite a bit of historical ground with that program series, there is still much to explore. Most importantly, the lack of racial diversity within the traditional women's suffrage narrative needs much more exploration and contextualization. The programming for this series is still in development, but I can share with you all that the intended topics of public programs will include the women's suffrage movement in popular culture, American Indian voting rights, African American experiences in Idaho, race and popular culture, African American rights and visual culture, and the long civil rights movement. The anchor for all of these programs is a traveling exhibition that LCHS will co-host in Moscow with the University of Idaho Library, entitled For All the World to See, Visual Culture and the Struggle for Civil Rights, which is made available by NEH on the Road, a program of the National Endowment for the Humanities. The civil rights movement of the mid-20th century, much like women's suffrage, is a topic that is familiar to many but deeply understood by few. LCHS seeks to develop our community's knowledge base regarding voting rights in the United States through this effort. Once again, we acknowledge that this topic should be of great interest in an election year. In our original proposal to the Moscow Women's Giving Circle, submitted in February, we requested $2,000 in total. $500 for support of the traveling exhibit, $1,000 to offer honorariums to speakers as a way to demonstrate our commitment to equity, and another $500 to support public event program costs. We must acknowledge, however, that the current public health crisis does not have an expiration date, and so we are being flexible with our planning. Regardless of whether folks will be able to assemble in groups this fall for programs, we still would like to offer the content of this series to the public. If awarded funding, LCHS would use the grant to facilitate the production of an online video series that has the same goals as our initial prospectus. We will also work with NEH on the Road to find ways to make the traveling exhibit accessible to our audience. The Giving Circle's fulfillment of our request will allow LCHS to take advantage of this moment in time and turn people's curiosity about a historical anniversary into a deeper understanding of our shared past, present, and future. History is essential to knowing ourselves, our families, and the world around us. Thank you for considering supporting the Latah County Historical Society in our vision to build good citizens, strong communities, and satisfying lives. If you'd like to learn more about our organization, please visit our website, www.latahcountyhistoricalsociety.org. Thanks, and have a great one.